should we talk
about server bills?
I'm so excited to see Taylor Swift
you
tonight.
owe $300 for your dinner last night, Brandon. You walked out on your tab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I was scared of 16 straight losses.
No.
Ladies
Who's
and gentlemen,
here? Oh, wrong show.
You see what had happened. We'll get into all of that. But this is another Clickbait Sports episode. Joining me, it is the regulars. We got 5. We got Brandon. We got Tom. We got Tree. We're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys getting destroyed by the 49ers. Okay? But before we do that, let's get into the Packers losing against the Raiders. Immediately to Tom, instant reaction. What is going on?
Way to deflect, Scooter. Way to deflect.
Bro.
We were so close to having a week where all of our teams lost.
I mean, technically, my team should have lost by
The
30.
Ravens
Let's
were
be
like,
honest.
Never mind.
Ravens said, no.
Yeah.
Tree may have a win.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh, we dropped it.
Okay, so yeah, Jordan Love didn't play well. Matt LaFleur pooped his pants because Aaron Jones wasn't in the game again and doesn't know how to call a game plan without Aaron Jones. And we have no run game. And our defense played well enough, except the time that Preston Smith tried to cover Devontae Adams, to win that game. And then, yeah, I mean, we have no O-line, we have no run game, and Jordan Love didn't play well. So that's a recipe for disaster. Even though Josh McDaniels literally was like, here you go, you can win. We're not going to go for it on 4th and 1 and kick a 52-yard field goal, which we're going to miss. So
did any of the other 3 get a chance to watch this game? Packers, Raiders. 5. What was your insight on this game?
Happy birthday,
Josh McDaniels. Yeah, Josh McDaniels is an idiot. That's clear. The one thing I want to ask you, Tom, is how close is the Packers season to being over? Because Brandon and I's season is done. We're done. We're finished. How close is the Packer season to being done?
I don't think it's necessarily done because the NFC North is so trash. I mean, literally the Bears and Vikings have the same record right now. And Justin Jefferson is now injured. So it's not over by any stretch, but there are things that I'm concerned about that are popping up from week to week that are not getting fixed. Like, for example, like the offense just doesn't show up in the first half. I mean, it's happened in almost every single game. And if you go up against gooder teams, like better teams than the Raiders or then, the Bears, things like that, like the Lions, you're going to get beat every single time. So that's kind of the big concern right now. But I don't know. It's, I'm curious to see. We already have a bye week, so hopefully, things will get a little bit better. Aaron Jones will be better. But, yeah. If we lose to the Broncos, then I could be like, yeah, it might be done.
No, whoa. Hey.
I mean, if you lose to the Steelers, you're definitely done. That's all I'm saying, Tom.
That's how you know it's really bad.
Yeah.
But
all right,
350. Damn.
Yeah.
Who got that 350? Who got Joe Kaput's money?
Well, that ain't me. I'm happy.
Scoots?
Oh, I do have my punishment to play today.
Oh yes, can we get to that? I've been waiting to see that.
Because
but before we get to your punishment, let's recap the Broncos game. For those who didn't get a chance to watch, tell us what went down in that game, Brandon Perna.
we lost to the Jets. We're the only team who's lost to Zach Wilson twice. So that's all you need to know, Scooter. Only team on earth to lose to Zachy Wilson twice. Other than that, that game is so far in the past, and the Broncos play the Chiefs tonight. I'd rather us, a little later in the episode, focus on the Broncos and Chiefs game because, 1, yes, we know Swift's going to be there. 2, we also know the Chiefs have defeated the Broncos 15 straight times. 3, we also know the Broncos stand almost no chance to beat the Chiefs because technically they have the worst defense in the NFL right now and quite possibly one of the worst all-time defenses. We traded away Randy Gregory, who wasn't playing. Now they're talking about trading away or just cutting Frank Clark because he's not playing, and we signed him. So there's 2 edge rushers gone, and our edge rush has been bad. But I just heard a stat today. It's actually the worst in the league. getting pressure about 14% of the time. And we're going to play Patrick Mahomes. And for the first time in his career, he's playing the worst defense in the league. So, oh boy. And I still think the Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs.
Quick question, though. Was Frank Clark an inside job by the Chiefs?
I don't know what knowledge he gained. How to not be the worst defense.
What is the payout if you bet on the Broncos today and they win? Do we know what the payout is for that?
It's like
I think it's technically called throwing your money away.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Loss?
5, your hand was raised. What did
plus 455?
A bear market?
Outrageous.
Wait, what are they at?
Worse. They're at plus 455, which is actually not the worst line. The Panthers have the worst line at plus 650 with the Dolphins.
Oh, dude.
And I think the Giants actually,
the
Giants are at plus 750. The Giants are the worst. They have the worst chance of winning this weekend mathematically, according to Vegas.
And
is the Giants.
And
it's logically so. The Giants are trash. Brandon, I have a question for you. Who's getting traded? Is our guys like Patrick Surtain on the trading block? Is Jerry Jeudy on the trading block? Is what's the tight end? His name that just got activated? Is
Dulcich?
he on the Dulcich?
Dulcich better not be going anywhere.
Is anybody safe
get rid of
besides Russell Wilson and his $107 million cap hit? Is anybody safe?
I don't even think Russ is necessarily safe, but I think Pat Surtain's safe.
We'll take Pat Surtain in Pittsburgh.
I mean, there's a price for everything, but he is a guy you want to keep on defense. Jerry Jeudy is, I would say, 99% gone. 99%. That's probably the most rumored guy to be traded. There are teams who actually would benefit by trading for Jerry Jeudy. He's heavily criticized here in Denver, but he's pretty good receiver when somebody can just get him the football. And I think
when he's healthy,
the Panthers need him, but also apparently the Colts have called on Jerry Jeudy a few times. And the Colts also, that I think makes a ton of sense. So I think Judy's gone. Cortland Sutton's kind of up there in terms of somebody we've heard is possible to be traded. And Justin Simmons on the defensive side is another guy who has a lot of trade rumors attached to his name. And it's because Judy's good and Simmons is good, and they could provide value wherever they go. And I was thinking about this today. The Broncos have been sellers for like the last 4, 5, 6 years, all the way back to dealing Demaryius Thomas to the Texans, Emmanuel Sanders, Aqib Talib. We've just grown accustomed to them just trading away guys we love, and guys where we're already we're probably not going to bank on anything good happening for the rest of the season. So let's get some draft capital for these players and build, which we just have never built anything.
Which player getting traded hurt the most? Personally, just made you cry in the shower.
Demaryius Thomas hurt because he went to the Texans and we had to play him that same week.
Oh.
And he had a couple nice catches early in the game.
Von Miller didn't hurt.
Oh, and Von Miller in there too. They sent Von, to the Rams, and I was actually happy for Von to go to a good team, and he won a Super Bowl. But then they had a chance to sign Von this offseason, and they chose Randy Gregory, or last offseason.
Well,
and I know
Von Miller
got
also got paid $60 million guaranteed for a season.
They didn't have money. Sure. They're not spending money like that.
They gave Randy Gregory a dumb contract too, and just traded him to the 49ers. So basically, my point is, everything they've done is wrong. It's just
that's fair.
Sometimes you hit on, even bad GMs, I feel hit on a couple of those. We're just not doing it right now. Anyway.
But you know what you are doing? You are about to show us this punishment that you did the previous week. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what your money buys. It buys things like this. What was the punishment last week, Perna? Break it down.
What was it last week? Now, this happened
it's overdue.
A while ago. I had to purchase.
Somebody zoom him in because I think
someone ISO
wrestling belt. I had to buy this $700 stupid wrestling belt, which was punishment enough. Spending $700 on this was punishment enough.
It looks like it's
Okay.
worth it though.
It's heavy. It's stupid. But no, that wasn't enough. Then you guys said I had to make a wrestling hype video. So this thing took a month to arrive. What is it? Wrestling promo video, right, Tom?
Just a promo. Just a promo.
Just
You
a
don't-
promo.
You don't have to say video. Just promo.
Just a wrestling promo.
Which is promo.
So I didn't really research what a promo was. In my mind, it was just a wrestler talking trash, hyping up the match or whatever,
Yeah, you
right?
basically got it.
So this is what you guys got. Another punishment where I think everybody else truly is punished instead of me.
We broke the Broncos 7 years ago, and we've been riding them for 7 straight years. Last year was our quinceañera after we beat you for the 15th straight time, which makes tonight our Sweet 16. And Broncos, you can come put out our candles, because the only thing you know how to do is blow. And the only Swift you're gonna see tonight is Mr. Pfizer swiftly kicking you in that and the only tailor you'll be thinking about is the one who fixes your pants after you them again. And Andy Reid's gonna order all his starters cheeseburgers at halftime, because the game will be in the bag by then. The same bag you'll be putting over your dumb heads as you try and watch this game, Broncos fans. I'm reporting from prison. I'm visiting the world's greatest bank robber, Chief Superfan Chiefsaholic. Coming to pay-per-view soon, me and Chiefsaholic versus the NFL's greatest bank robber, Russell Wilson, and Sean Payton, who I know can't hack it, and will be submitted in the first round with no defense. Razor Mahomes. What do wrestlers do? I don't know. I don't watch them. But I'm coming for you.
Did I do it? Is that
Yeah,
a wrestler?
Buddy, you should be an AEW.
Wow.
That was
I
a
think you said
masterclass
submit in the
promo.
first round, which makes no sense, but everything else was a 10 out of 10. But
Wow.
everything else was
That
a
was
Did
good.
they have rounds?
Well done.
That was
That's
really
got to
good.
be.
I think
As
I
As a
think you're-
wrestling fan,
right.
I'm like, you know what? That kid's
All
got
right,
it.
that's all I wanted. I
your
wanted
next
wrestling
punishment
fans to-
should
Well
be
done.
to have to do clickbait in that voice the whole time.
Well done.
Dude, it was. I'm sure Jess will have outtakes, but like, I couldn't stop talking like a pirate. Like it started as Bonesaw from Spider-Man.
Yep.
He's like Bones, and then I started doing a pirate. I was like, I can't do this.
Bonesaw's ready.
Yeah.
There it is.
I think that should at some
Just gotta
point we should
snap
all
into a
have
Slim
to
Jim,
make
baby.
yeah, we should all have to make wrestling promo videos at some
It
point.
was kind of fun, honestly.
It's fun.
I have
I
this
I
is
would-
a little segue. Oh, go ahead.
Per night.
No,
I
you're
do
good,
love
man. Go
wrestling.
ahead.
Scooter and I talked about
Take a
this in
look.
the green room. We should set up like a goal, right, for us to pool our resources, and then next spring we should do a Clickbait Sports Combine, and we should all compete against each other in acts of not only physical ability, see who has the best bench press, see who runs the fastest 40, but also mental abilities. So we should all meet up somewhere in the middle of America. Maybe
I vote Colorado.
maybe in Denver,
Come
yeah,
on.
maybe in Colorado, and then Clickbait Sports Combine. That would be.
You
Quite
just want to
impressive.
mock me for my slow 40 time. I know how this is.
That's the only category I won't finish dead last in. Like I don't
I'll
know.
fail the interview process. That's what I know.
Honestly,
What about the? I could see Brandon being like, "This is not the Wonderlick."
I'm going to be dead
this
last
meant
in the
something
Wonderlick.
else.
Trust me. I'll
Mhm.
probably just
Let
do
us know
circles
if
everywhere.
you would like to see a clickbait combine. Let us know in the comments.
Yes.
But moving on, let us also know your thoughts on the Giants-Dolphins game 5-point.
Oh, we are
big.
really dancing around this, huh, Scooter? We've
I
got
was
14 and a half
feeling-
minutes without talking about your pitiful Cowboys.
But we'll get
Wait.
we'll get to the Cowboys. We'll get to the Cowboys. We'll get to
Listen,
Yeah.
the Giants were never in this game. Daniel Jones gets hurt. Like it's just this team is banged up. This season's over. We're done. We are finished. Like we were done before. But look at the teams we've played. We've played all playoff teams from last year. outside of Arizona, who we beat. Okay. And we knew this was going to be a tough stretch. We wanted to get through this either at 500 or a game under 500. No, that's not possible. Now we got the Bills and we suck. We're bad. Evan Neal hasn't developed. Our center's out. And he was already bad. We're signing Justin Pugh, a guy that we drafted and then let go to Arizona because we thought he was trash anyways. Now he's back. Like, what? We are terrible, and it's just going to be a bad year. And the question is, if we come skidding in, which we won't get the number 1 overall pick. We'll win a couple of games. Like, who do you even add to this team? Like, we went out and add Jalen Hyatt. That guy's on a milk carton somewhere. I don't know where he is. Wan'Dale Robinson already hurt. Like, and then Saquon. I will say this. I'll give Shane some credit. Why did he not extend Saquon? For this reason. He's unavailable. He's already hurt. Okay. He could be traded at the deadline. That would be a smart move for both him and the Giants. A lot of guys could go. Maybe guys not like Leonard Williams or Dexter Lawrence, like you would keep those pieces. But, I don't think anyone wants Darius Slayton.
Leonard
like
Williams
who wants
has vanished for you guys?
Yeah, he has. It's all tied into just the domino effect of guys getting hurt, and we just look like ass. And it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. We're going to get.
I actually will be at that Bills game thanks to Peacock. Peacock's sending me to that Bills Giants game. So if you're going to that game, say hello.
Did you do something wrong?
Yeah.
No.
Do you have any extra tickets? Because I don't
this
need
like-
a punishment.
We're not
Honestly,
abandoning your
they're just
videos.
like,
Like,
you know what,
going to
Scoots?
the Giants game.
Honestly, they wanted a snuff film. That's what they were thinking.
Yeah. Also,
They took
the
it on
word
GPS.
peacock is really funny. We just say it. It's like manhole. We just say it and we don't laugh. Like peacock is really funny.
Yeah, Peacock, which is what the Giants have been doing every
I can
single
say
week
it.
this year.
Yeah, I can say that, right?
Do you, Scooter, if you're going and it's like for them, do you get to root for a team there or do you have to be neutral?
No, I get to root. I get to
You get
root
to root
for
for
a
the
team, and
Bills?
I will be
Oh,
rooting
you-
for the home team. Let's go, Bills Mafia, baby.
Nice.
Let me know where the best tailgate places are, for real, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Let me know. Tweet me. But before we get to the Cowboys, we have one more game to talk about. That would be the Steelers, surprisingly coming out with the win. Take us through what went down, Tree, for those who didn't get a chance to watch this game.
Well,
Somebody getting called.
I guess either that or somebody's just
I am
echoing.
Phone call.
I am not getting a phone call, but you're probably getting a phone call and the echoes now driving me off.
Getting a call.
All I'm going to say is the Ravens lost that game at least 20 times over. They should have beat the Steelers by 30. They were accounted for 7 receiver drops, and most of these were right in the breadbasket. First and 10, 20-yard pass to Zay Flowers, off him. In the red zone, Mark Andrews, off his hands. Rashad Bateman, easiest catch you can make. Oops, dropped, forced a field goal. Nelson Aguilar goes back to his Philadelphia days. Right in the breadbasket. Nope, drop there. Rashad Bateman, another drop too. So it was nothing the Steelers did. It's the Ravens played like crap, and they decided to go for it on a 4th and 2 with in the second quarter. They were going to go up by 2 scores. They go for it, which is like, dude, what are you doing? I was watching the game with my brother and his family, and we're just sitting there like, what are we doing? How are we only down by 1 score? This team should be crushing us. And in typical Mike Tomlin over the past 5 or 6 years fashion, they BS their way to a bunch of splash plays and the other team self-destructing, and we somehow win. That's usually how it happens. It like turns into one big acid trip, and then you find out with another one, it's like, how the hell did I get this? That's what it really comes down to. It is the weirdest thing in the world, and it keeps happening. It's Ravens.
And what's even weirder is that you
sorry, this
guys
is the
are
wrong 49ers team,
first
sorry.
in the AFC North. That's what's even weirder.
with a minus 34 point differential or something ridiculous.
31. Yeah, 31, I think.
But it's one of the worst offenses in football. And the defense has been getting blown out in several games. So it's like, how are we in first?
Now, looking forward to the future, you guys got the Rams coming up. What are your thoughts on this game, Tree?
No,
Look at even
no,
ESPN is hyping
no.
up Kittle.
No.
Look at ESPN's got Kittle with his F the Cowboys shirt.
First of all, Tree and I are on a bye this week. Okay.
Yeah,
Nothing
we're on a
can.
Yeah,
Nothing
I
can
mean,
hurt us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
That's the following. That's the following.
Well, the Penguins will fire. They're going to chant "Fire Canada" at Pens games now, even though
Which is kind of
most of the people that are Blackhawks or play for the Pens and Blackhawks probably don't even follow Steeler football, and they're sitting there like, "Wait, Fire Canada?" I think like a good chunk of both teams are Canadian. So it's like, are they talking about the wildfires that happened in Quebec?
Wildflower.
That because we had a bunch of smoke come down here. Maybe they're talking about Fire Canada. I don't know.
yeah,
like,
I was gonna say it's very rude of Steelers fans to keep bringing that up all the time.
Yeah, well, it was a very weird.
It was a
was
bad
sure.
summer for Canadian wildfires, and Steelers fans should be a little more sensitive.
Scooter.
So we're gonna move on.
Hold on, Scooter. I have a
you
question.
guys okay, yeah. What's your question?
Yeah. Do the Cowboys know how to block someone on their phone? Do they know how to
Do
block?
they know how to
anyone?
block someone on their
Yeah,
phone?
because
That's
the
a question for
because the
Jared.
49ers have your number. That's all I have to say. Hey.
That is definitely a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10.
Honestly,
You can do
dude,
better.
they don't even own their number, dude. They own
we
several
go.
chunks of property in Frisco right now. They are buying that
Listen.
city and renaming it Shanahan.
Can I
Okay,
go
listen.
now?
Everyone get everything you want to say out before I speak. Go. It's your time. Say what
Take it
you
away,
want to say about
Dom.
the Dallas Cowboys. Go
Oh,
ahead.
good.
Cowboys own elite.
Good. So, Scooter, you remember on Clickbait when we were talking just last Thursday and we were having a conversation and there was the conversation between you and Five about how the Cowboys didn't play anybody and you were defending the Cowboys. And you're like, well, who are the Eagles playing? We're going back and forth. And then I stepped in and I was like, listen, it's not going to be bad unless you get blown out by the 49ers. Then it's going to be really bad. And you said, okay. Well, they got blown out by the 49ers, 42-10. And buddy, I just in case you forgot, just because, so the first drive was a touchdown, right, for the 49ers, right? Then they punted again, they fumbled, then they punted. Then they got that touchdown. It's a really nice throw by Dak, probably the nicest one he had all game. Then they punted, then it was the end of the half. Then they got a field goal, then it was an interception, then an interception, then an interception, then a punt, and then that was the end of the game. So I just wanted
And
to
downs,
get
yeah.
your thoughts on just the colossal offensive performance that the Cowboys put up against the 49ers, because it was one for the books.
First and foremost, this is your fault for giving us Mike McCarthy. We did not want him. Okay?
Jerry
if
did.
y'all would have just
I think Jerry Jones
performed
wanted him
better,
very bad.
if y'all would have just performed better as a Packers organization, we could have prevented all of this from happening. But the offensive woes go back not even to this game. Our offense has not been good for several games. I have never said our offense is the greatest. I have said all our offense needs to do is manage. And unfortunately, our defense let us down as well that game. McCarthy doesn't know what the heck he's doing.
I thought it was
We're
Kellen
running
Moore's
these-
fault, though.
Yeah, I thought it
I thought it was
was.
Kellen Moore who.
No, he's
It's
begging
his
for
fault.
Kellen Moore back. I saw that Twitter.
So if I can respond, this is the difference. Okay. Kellen Moore would put Dak in bad situations. He's throwing long all the time. Okay. Now we're on the other end of the spectrum. We're never throwing long. We're barely throwing long. We barely have any explosive plays. What we need is someone to come in the middle. Okay. We need the great unifier. I don't know who that is. I don't know if we're going to get that person this season or next season, but I do know if our offense keeps playing like this, Mike McCarthy's job will be at risk. I know that for a fact. And look, the refs were garbage. I'm not going to blame it on the refs. The refs were
Oh my
Oh, there
God.
it is. There it is. That's like that's the
Excuses.
The refs weren't
argument.
great for the
I was like,
Cowboys.
excuses
The
are like
49ers
assholes. Everyone has
It was
one.
42 points, Scooter.
Can I please? Okay. Defense just got winded from being out there the whole time. Okay. You cannot go up against a high-powered offense like that and then keep getting put on the field after every 3 and out. I don't even blame the defense that much. Okay. But this was an offensive travesty put the blame squarely on Mike McCarthy. I don't know what he's doing. CeeDee Lamb is mad. We're utilizing CeeDee Lamb as a third-string receiver. He's getting 0 targets, barely any targets. I blame McCarthy. 100% of the blame goes on Mike McCarthy, which then can also be put on the Packers organization for allowing him to lead in the first place.
Who threw all those picks in the third and fourth quarter? Who threw the 3 consecutive picks? Was that Mike McCarthy? Because I didn't see that. I didn't see him out there.
So
picks.
So let me ask you something. Do you think if another quarterback was back there running the same plays, because I don't know if you saw any receivers getting open on these cross slanting plays, do you think that would have mattered if any other quarterback was back there? Do you think Daniel Jones would have done a better job if he was back there throwing? You think Russell Wilson would have done a better job?
I think Josh Allen would have done a better
Jordan
job.
Love at throwing interceptions? Yes, I do as well. Because if we can
Dude, he
bring
had
those
3. Are you kidding? That third one was terrible.
He threw as many interceptions as
Yeah.
Jordan Love did.
Oh, by the way,
Some
he
were
said 10
underthrown.
interceptions. He's at 4 in 5 games.
Yeah.
So he's
to
going
be
to break
fair,
10.
though, to be fair, it is Jordan
And how
Love's
many
6th start.
interceptions?
So, you know.
How many interceptions does Josh Allen have? Since he's so much better than
A
Dak.
lot.
Well, he had
Okay,
that one
so
game
what are we
against the
talking
Jets,
about?
But that
What-
was it.
What are we talking about?
All I'm saying is, just saying, Josh Allen wouldn't have made.
No,
he would have done
none
a better
of
job.
your quarterbacks on your team, if they were back there, would have done better with the play calling that was being called. Period. No
Weren't you
quarterback
bashing
in the
Kellen
NFL.
Moore though?
Yes.
Imagine you could have had
Dak
Paxton
is what
Lynch
I
I
said.
mean,
instead of
Matt
Dak.
Stafford put up a pretty
Moore-
good. I mean, Daniel Jones only threw 1 INT in his game, and so there's that.
Kenny Pickett only threw 2.
Matthew Stafford had 2 INTs. I'll give him that.
It's the play calling.
Mhm.
Russ only
Yes,
fumbled the game
Dak
away.
has
Yep.
Dak has to play better, but also the play calling has to be better. The separation on the receivers has to be better. If you guys
Joshua
watch that
Dobbs.
game, it's
Dobbs
What
didn't
about
throw
Josh
any
Dobbs?
picks. So
Dobbs,
by
guy.
transitive property, Dobbs, Arrow, Dak.
I just want
When
to
is it
ask
Trey
a-
Lance time?
I just want to ask a legit question, like a legit question.
okay.
So, what is your excuse for the defense that allowed 42 points?
I just told you they were winded, they were tired, they're going up against a high-powered offense. They were on the field the whole game.
So okay, to be
Winded.
fair, so were the Packers. That's 42. And listen,
Okay.
the 49ers are the best team in football. They're the best team in football. That's 42 points. That's 6
What,
touchdowns.
did y'all have Did y'all have 3 turnovers during that game?
Yes. We had 3 interceptions. Yes, Jordan Love threw 3 interceptions just like Dak.
Mm-hmm.
What was the score?
They scored what? It was 17-13, I think.
Yeah, but you did play the Raiders, to be fair.
Which,
The
yeah,
Raiders
so
are.
I'm knocking
they're
down
terrible.
the competition level. 42 is a lot.
So do you think if the Packers played the 49ers and turned the ball over, the score would be different?
I'm not talking about the Packers. I'm talking about the Cowboys.
I'm just asking.
I'm asking
Because
what's the excuse for the defense?
We're comparing.
My
No,
qu-
I'm talking about the defense.
The excuse
Packers,
is
they're 2
The
and 3.
excuse is there's 3 turnovers, and they were on
That's
the field.
still a
the whole time.
deficiency.
That is my excuse.
Like
Yeah.
that's still
3
a problem.
You had 3 turnovers.
They
This game should have proved that the Cowboys are not in the elite of the NFC. They got destroyed by the elite of the NFC.
What I will say is this: all right, we still get to go up against the Eagles. Okay, so the Eagles are elite, right? Well, let's see how the Eagles play against the Cowboys. Let's see how the Eagles, right? Because they're all this elite, right? Let's see what the Eagles do against their 5-game stretch where they play the Bills, where they play the Dolphins. Because, like I said, the Eagles haven't played anyone. The 49ers proved themselves as an elite team. We'll put them up there. But as far as everyone else goes, every single team is unproven except the 49ers, as far as I'm concerned.
Brother, you lost to Arizona.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
NFC
the
West
Bills lost
is
to the
what?
Jets with Zach Wilson.
2 wins over you, huh?
The Bills lost
All
to the Jets with Zach Wilson. It doesn't.
That
So
should
where-
show you a
okay,
huge
you rank
issues
half-
in your red zone offense. And I mean, in some regards,
The
like-
offense is the problem. I have already said that. The offense is the problem. Until we get the offense sorted, it's going to keep becoming a problem. It's going to keep affecting the defense when you go 3 and out 7, 8, 9 times in a game. Yes, the offense is the problem. Is there anyone else that would like to talk about the Dallas Cowboys? Any other comments?
I do
on
have
the
a
Dallas
question.
Cowboys?
Is losing Leighton Vander Esch for about 4 to 6 weeks, will that have an impact on the defense?
Gosh, you're losing pieces, man.
That is interesting. It is interesting because if you look at Van Der Esch's rookie year, he was playing with explosion. He was moving fast. If you look at him last year, he was moving kind of fast too. This year, it looks like Van Der Esch has sort of reverted and has taken – he's sort of slowed down. And so I was actually more interested to see the backup linebackers on our practice squad who now have been signed to other teams because we didn't elevate them, and now they're gone, and we had to bring in Rashaan Evans. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do fill that position. But Van Der Esch has been looking a step behind this season. So, yes, it is a loss because he is part of that defense, but I don't know if it is going to be as big of a loss as a lot of people think because he was moving very slowly.
So my question is like, okay, where do you rank the Cowboys then in the NFC?
Second.
Ahead of who?
He's saying
Eagles?
everybody
Everyone
except
else.
Ahead of the Eagles.
Everyone
Eagles?
else.
Bro,
I put the Rams ahead of them. Oh my
I
God.
put the
Lions
Lions ahead of them too.
Yeah, I put the Lions
Dude,
way
the
ahead
Lions
of
are
the
so
Cowboys.
ahead of Dallas.
Yeah.
You
Dude,
got
I mean, on any given
Lions.
day, I might put New Orleans and Atlanta over Dallas.
Who'd the Lions play? They beat the Chiefs.
Might put Tampa over Dallas.
The Lions beat
Okay,
the
that's fair.
Chiefs. Literally beat
They did beat the Chiefs.
probably the best
They did
team in the
beat the
AFC.
Look,
wow.
like I said, it's too early really to
Ballsy.
tell anything at this point.
We're
We're gonna give it-
Ballsy.
We're going to
You
give
can
it a
just
couple
say
more
the
games.
Cowboys are not that good because they're not. They beat the Patriots, who we were talking about them being one of the worst teams. They had back-to-back losses. They got shut out. They did even worse against the Saints than they did you. Like, it's okay to be like, bro, like they're not that good this year.
They're good. Don't get me wrong. They're
They
good.
are a good team. They're a wild card team.
Yeah.
But I don't
Are
know
they
if they're
play the
gonna be
Chargers this week?
It's okay to say they're good.
The Cowboys offense is not that good. Okay? That's what I can give you at this point. This is a week-to-week league. Okay? This is a week-to-week league. 2 weeks ago, we were looking at the Cowboys as one of the best teams. Okay? Now we played the 49ers. Now all of a sudden they're mid and they suck, apparently.
We've been
According
saying that
to you
the whole
guys.
year, dude.
We need an
No, we
intervention.
haven't.
We need
Do you
another
watch
Play
intervention.
the
Tom
Chargers.
Rossi's
That's an interesting
rankings
game.
videos? Tom Grossi had the Cowboys ranked 4 in his video. Look, you gotta. It's a week-to-week.
What
Not
happens if
this
you lose
week.
to the
Not
Chargers?
this week.
What happens if you lose
Listen,
to
don't
the
worry about this
Chargers,
one.
though?
If we lose to the Chargers, we're in
will
big
lose to
trouble.
The Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we lose to the Chargers, honestly, we're going to have to start questioning Mike McCarthy's job security at this point because we have a lot of harder games coming up too. We also play the Bills. We also play the Dolphins. We also still have to play the Eagles twice. So, like I said,
But the Eagles
What
are fraudulent, right?
Kellen Moore's
Yeah.
offense
You'll see.
dices up the
You'll see.
Cowboys defense.
You got the Lions too, by the way. So we'll find out about that. We'll find out whether you're a
It will
lion, a
be-
witch, or a wardrobe.
Chargers coming off a
Will
bye
be bad.
too.
All right, can we preview
live
this
in a
game
week.
tonight? I'm sorry.
Yes. Let's
Thursday
get off
night
the
football.
Cowboys.
That was Thursday night football,
On to
not Sports
Thursday night
Center.
football.
Brandon.
So, Brandon,
Yes.
take it away. What's happening? What are your
Yeah.
predictions?
My prediction is, well, we're gonna be live streaming it, so make sure you come watch the whole thing with us. I'm optimistic the Broncos can win for one reason, 2 reasons actually. First reason, 16 straight losses to the same team. It's just improbable. It's like, to me, it feels like it could be one of those games where the Chiefs should win. They should win easily. There's no reason for the Broncos to win this game, but something weird happens. Some weird mojo starts, I don't know, snowballing in this game, and the Broncos, for whatever reason, get the win to end the streak. Just because I don't care what sport it is, streaks that long, ooh, they get a little crazy. Second reason I think the
And you're
Broncos
calling
win,
me delusional?
Bigfoot
You're calling me
spotted here in
delusional.
Colorado from a train. If that is not a sign that things are going to turn around for this team, I don't know what is. And everybody knows what Bigfoot video I'm talking about, correct?
No, haven't not.
Well,
seen
the
it.
owner dresses up as Sasquatch, so that's not really a Bigfoot video, there. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, you think it's our owner did that?
No, like the owner of the actual area, like I think the campfire ground, he dresses up as Sasquatch. It was Twitter said it, so it couldn't prove me wrong.
This is real.
Oh, it's real. I know how
40
to
mile per hour winds in Arrowhead. Somebody just said.
Yeah, Pacheco just run over you then.
Brandon, I know how to guarantee that the Broncos win tonight.
What do I got to do?
Say before the stream that you're going to take shots of Malort every time that they score, and that will tip the balance. That will, because Brett Coleman and EJ Snyder did it and they almost died. So you can do it because they were going to take shots of Malort every time the Bears scored, and they had that massive upset last week. So you just agree to do that. Just go out and get a bottle of Malort, and the Broncos will win.
Yeah,
Count
I don't know.
Are
I can
you
say I'll do that, but I'm
rooting
definitely
for-
not gonna.
Are you rooting for the Broncos to win this game and like to turn their season around, or are you looking actively at mock drafts, seeing which quarterback could fall where?
Oh, we're taking for we're trying to get number one, Scooter. We're trying to get the number one pick.
Okay.
Every part of my brain that is thinking about the futures, like, who cares if they lose another one to the Chiefs? But when I woke up today and I started thinking about this game, started thinking about streaming it, I'm like, I really, really, really want the Broncos to win this game. I want it just to snap the streak. It won't turn their season around. I do not believe that for a second. You can't have a defense this bad. And their run defense is really bad. So if it is windy, Pacheco might have a huge day. But I want them to win it because on top of all of that, I think the best thing I could do in terms of making a video after this game is the Chiefs losing to the worst team in football. I would take such great pleasure in creating that video. That this is what it needs to be. We need the upset. I think we need Taylor Swift to see her team lose as well. She needs to know what that feels like.
Do you seriously think the NFL
she
will
would
let
write
the
a song
Taylor
about
Swift
it.
team lose?
Well,
Really?
yeah, maybe she'll write a song about it, and then that'll be like a win-win thing because that's what happens. That's her pattern, right? She's happy, and then she's depressed, and she writes a banger, and then she gets happy again. Brandon, if the Broncos took Caleb Williams, would you keep Russ and have him sit a year behind, or would you just jettison Russ and take that $87 million cap hit?
I would force Russ to be Caleb Williams' personal chef for a year.
But he's going to burn everything.
I was going to say, you don't want him cooking.
Yeah, remember when you had that press conference, Mile High Stadium got set on fire.
It would really depend on if they can move him. I wouldn't mind having Russ while we had Caleb Williams or Drake May, one of the top two guys, to ease in whenever they need them to. We've seen, I think, the benefits of that, but I don't know if Russ is the right quarterback to have in the room with a young guy, but I think it's Russ was playing well, and I feel like the national narrative about Russ is like a week late. They're like, something that's getting lost in the Broncos' losses is that Russ has been playing well. It's true, but last week was his worst game. So it's like a weird thing to be saying this week heading into this Mahomes matchup. But if he can continue to do that and play well while they keep losing, then there might be a viable way for them to move him. I don't know where, but yeah, I think anything, if you're sitting in the top two picks in this draft, then nobody's safe. Russ is not safe. We can eat the dead cap. We can eat the 80 million dead cap. Our ownership has that money. So
did you guys
that's all that resource just gone.
Did you guys see that segment on Marshawn Lynch and Shannon Sharp where they were talking about quarterbacks? And basically, Brandon, did you get a chance to see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who didn't, it's Marshawn Lynch. He's on Shannon Sharp's podcast, and he's praising Aaron Rodgers back when they were in Cal. He basically tells a story about how Aaron Rodgers, he ran the wrong play, and then Aaron Rodgers said, no, it was my bad. And ever since then, they were tight, and they bonded after that. And then a little bit later on, he goes and he asks, well, what about Russ? What about Russ? He said, yeah, well, he was just a quarterback. He was just, you didn't hang out or anything? No, he was just a quarterback. What do you think that says about Russell Wilson, Brandon? Do you think that plays into some things?
Yeah, no. I think obviously we heard a lot of Seahawks talking about, not a lot, but Richard Sherman coming out. There was nobody defending Russ last year when everything was a train wreck. And the opposite happened. People were taking shots at him. Former teammates were taking shots at him. Everybody was piling on. It was now that he's playing poorly, they felt enabled to do that. And it was weird. I still didn't love it, but when he was leaving Seattle, there was already a lot of that where Russ wasn't the most loved player in the locker room. We've kind of known that for a while, but I think the way Marshawn Lynch talked about it shed a light on the way Russ approached the quarterback position as a leader. And I think when he's using the Aaron Rodgers example, and it's funny because both Aaron Rodgers and Russ are kind of polarizing in the media. But one thing we know about Aaron Rodgers is his teammates freaking love him, right? His teammates like him. And it's because he took the heat off of Marshawn Lynch for making a mistake, let him know that he had his back. And what Marshawn Lynch referenced in that interview is that he tried to call Russ after a game to let Russ know that he had Russ's back. And he said that conversation went in a direction that Marshawn Lynch didn't really like and was kind of weird. And he didn't go into detail about, how Russ reacted to that, but it wasn't favorable. It wasn't Russ going, you know what, Marshawn, I got your back too. Shit gets heavy. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to go to bat for you. That wasn't the conversation that happened. Yeah. And I think that's who Russell Wilson has been as a quarterback, is he's isolated himself a little bit from possibly his teammates. And Marshawn Lynch said they had to go through Pete Carroll to criticize Russ or talk to Russ or whatever. We don't know if that's Pete or Russ or whatever. Whatever it was, Russ needed that buffer, and you don't want that with your quarterback. And kind of last year, none of the Broncos came out and defended Russ until week Nathaniel Hackett was fired the week after. So I think we don't know how Russ is currently with the guys in the locker room, right? Maybe he's evolved since then. Maybe he's learned something since that point, but yeah, I think there's something there when you got a guy like Marshawn Lynch talking about it. And I think the way Lynch talked about it too, he's I'm not trying to, he's whatever, however I say this, it's going to get twisted I've got malice towards Russ. He's that's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to basically explain what the difference was in my experience with him.
Well, sometimes when you have a conversation where you make yourself really vulnerable like that, obviously Marshawn was putting himself out there, and if it doesn't go the way that you expect, and even though there's no malice intended, the way that you feel, I'm sure Marshawn just felt down about that, right? If you put yourself out there and it doesn't work out the way that you want, you can't ever get that back. That other person made you feel like crap. And that's kind of reflective in what he said about him. And it seems that Russ is more of an image guy. He cares about what everybody in the public thinks about him, but he doesn't seem to care about what his teammates think about him. Right. He's obviously he wants to win, but he's just all right, well, if you're, I don't really care how you are as a person, if we can win together. And that's, that doesn't make him a bad person. It just makes him different. And
you don't want to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think it's also the way that everything that's been said about Russ Wilson, you said this last year too, Perna, because that was a big sticking point. You were why isn't his teammates sticking up for him? And it took so long until into the season to do so.
And they were yelling at him on the sidelines too.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what Sean Payton said in the offseason, I know he threw Hackett under the bus and all that great stuff, but I think that there was some truth to what Payton said about the Broncos basically. They treated it as they won the offseason, this massive trade. It was the Broncos country, let's ride. which I get it. From a team perspective, you're trying to sell tickets, you're trying to like get, your fan base hyped about it, what have you. It seems like Russell Wilson, like he's the quarterback, right? And Marshawn Lynch in that same interview said that he got treated differently, right? Pete Carroll's like, hey, if you want to talk to Russell Wilson, you talk to me. Like you talk to me and then I will give that information.
Right, because he knows he's toxic.
I feel like that's fine when you're winning. When you're losing, it just amplifies and makes everything significantly worse. Because it's like, okay, you know what? We're winning. So whatever he's doing, as long as he's playing well, I really don't care because we're winning.
And
but
even
once
if
you
you
start
win,
losing, and if he's not playing well, then that completely shifts and, you have what you have.
And that
That's
still has a
crazy.
short shelf life even when you win, too. I mean, look at what happened with Antonio Brown. Like, they tried covering up because he won and then still just went sideways. Like that.
So
happened.
I just want to, I just want to go back to one thing, Tom, if Pete Carroll is acting as a mediator between Russ and his players, as someone who was a business leader, like that means that you have a toxic or difficult personality to manage. If you have to interpret what your players are saying and package it into something that your player can digest, and then interpret that and then relay it and bring it back to your players, that is bad. Sure. That is awful if you're Pete Carroll. Like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to have to do extra things. And like, yes, like you said, that's okay if you're winning, but that to me is like, oh, that's a red flag from here. I can see that on top of the hill. That's bad.
Well, it goes like back to is something that Aaron Rodgers said. I think it was last year. He had a really interesting conversation on McAfee's show and was talking about the difference between college and the pros, and was basically saying like in college you call coach, right? It's very like yes sir, no sir, what have you, because that person is going to decide like how much you're playing, if you're playing at all, like they can bench you, what have you. But once you get to the NFL, it's like, hey, we're all professionals. We're all adults, right? We can talk to each other like that. I'm going to call my coach Matt. I'm going to call him Robert, whatever. And so now, like, again, with Russ Wilson, if he's being treated differently, especially like imagine you're a rookie, like going into that, if you have a young roster, you might be like, okay, well, that's maybe how this works because he's been in the league for such a long time, whatever. But again, as long as they're winning, that's fine.
Yeah.
But when a guy is so public, like Russell Wilson, especially last season, and they start losing, he's going to be the first one that's going to get a ton of flack. And even this season, unrightfully so, except for this past Sunday, Russell Wilson was still getting a lot of crap for why the Broncos were losing, and he wasn't even the reason they were losing.
Yeah.
So like that even is carried over from last season to this season.
And now he's getting praise, and I thought like he was kind of a big reason they lost, but the Kobe comment is interesting. I watched that the Dream Team documentary, the one with or the Redeem Team, the one with LeBron and Carmelo and all those players, and they brought in Kobe, and they talked a lot about Kobe being like this dude who didn't socialize with the other players. It was a little bit like about his Mamba mentality, about him just being in the zone, didn't care about anybody else, just wanted to just play his best. And how him coming into that team like opened up his perspective on how to be a better teammate, loosen up a little bit and have more fun while playing basketball. I thought that was a good comment because it does feel similar, and it was because you can get away with it when you are that good.
As long as you're winning.
When things
until his knees
are struggling, it's different. But when you're really bad, and it has been. This year's been worse than last year somehow with the better coach.
My question
is it really a better coach though?
So allegedly.
My question is, knowing what you know about Russell Wilson and that he is the quarterback for the Denver Broncos, predict the score for this Thursday night football game.
Man. I mean, really, I feel like the Chiefs are going to win like, what is it, 42-10, Cowboys, Niners? 45-13 is what I feel like tonight's game is going to be. And I would feel like a little more confident that the Broncos could hang with them, maybe in a little bit of a shootout or whatever. But we saw the Broncos offense against a good defense last week against the Jets defense, and they weren't very good. So, and I think the Chiefs defense is actually very good right now. And I think it's going to get away from them quickly. That's the logical thing. My Bigfoot, my streak is ending. 27-25. Broncos win.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Ballsy.
Okay. 5. What you got?
I'm going to go Broncos -4 and the Chiefs 89. 89-4.
89-4. 2 safeties. Negative safeties. Okay. Tom, what you got?
I got 31-21 Chiefs. But I think it's it because last year, if you look at both those games, the Broncos played them like really, really well. Russ got concussed in that second game, and they almost won that game. So I think you never know with like divisional games. I mean, look at the Commanders, right? The Commanders, they go toe-to-toe with the Eagles, bring them into overtime, and then they lose to the Bears on Thursday night. Divisional games are weird. You never know.
It's a week-to-week league.
And it's a Thursday.
Could be competitive. And, you know, Travis Kelce, he is playing, but he is dealing with a bit of an injury, too.
All
so you
those
never know.
things for the streak to end.
Honestly, that offense is rather sluggish for the Chiefs right now. It is not up to standard. There are a lot of issues with drops. They're not really getting into the right sequencing. Like, they've been having trouble dispatching certain opponents. And I think they do win, but it's going to be like by 1 score. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like everyone expects.
So what's your score prediction?
I would say 21-17.
Ooh.
Actually, I'm going to change mine. I'm going to say Broncos 19, Chiefs 89.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. I'm going to go 35-21 Chiefs. 35-21 Chiefs.
It's WD-40, by the way.
I can't say this.
Hey,
If
WD-40 is good stuff, man.
WD-40.
You can use it as lube.
if the Chiefs' offense doesn't look
gonna
very
burn you,
good
though.
against the Broncos tonight, Chiefs fans can start to worry a little bit about their offense. They can go ahead and start to worry a little bit.
There you go.
All right, let's go to the countdown.
Yes. Count it
Okay.
down.
Put it out of our misery. Let's go.
Hit the wrong one.
Yeah. That's right. Brandon Perna hit the wrong button, baby. That's why we got the intro again. But it's the outro. 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 4. How many points will the Kansas City Chiefs score? Taylor Swift, she will be watching her, bro. But how many times we gonna see her? I don't know. Probably 65. Taylor Swift counter, baby.
No, Al Michael said limited coverage. Limited coverage of Tay tonight. Per
It's
Al
probably going to be
Michael.
like 30 shots, so that's limited. It's pretty limited. We need a Taylor Swift cam.
I got
20,
18.
26-98.
148.95. I did not win. Thank the Lord.
140.95.
Oh,
Scooter.
350, baby.
Scooter.
350.
Scooter.
Scooter.
I got a good one for
457.
Scooter.
457.
457.07.
There it is. There it is.
I
Well,
saw
that's a good
somebody
one.
suggest that Scooter's got to recreate the George Kittle pose. So you got to get the F the Cowboys shirt. You need to get a Niners jersey, some shoulder pads, and the helmet. You got to get the same shot of George Kittle doing it.
Not bad. I'll take it.
See, I was going to
Which-
say, like, make that his Twitter profile pic for, like, a
Ooh.
little bit.
Listen,
Wow.
listen.
That's over.
I'm not changing my Twitter profile picture.
Why? You
What?
made me do it.
I did.
Yeah, last year.
I don't recall. I don't recall.
It's so weird
I
how we don't
that
recall.
happening. I don't recall. I
What
will
did you have to
accept,
change it to?
I think it
will
was something with
accept,
the Vikings.
But I'm gonna put like some tape over the custom.
Yeah, you can censor the F, but like you need to show us that it's real though. Like that it's,
Okay.
because I know that's against your brand, but
So
you
like
have to.
a 49ers helmet.
You got to look. You got to just
You
recreate
got to
it.
recreate the picture. That's it. hmm
Helmets are expensive, though. I
Yeah,
don't
they
know
are
why helmets
expensive. Maybe you
Find
can
a,
return it.
Find a plastic kid's helmet. Whatever you got.
Maybe you could buy it on Amazon and then return it at Whole Foods or something.
I had to return it to Whole Foods.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
And
what
you
see
can
what I
Holmes
can-
takes returns now.
You
But
can
for
even blur
helmets-
out the F word or put like something over it. I want
Right.
you to go outside of the comfort zone there.
Okay, that's
But
fair.
it's got to look just like this,
It's got it. Yep.
Oh, dude.
just
Damn.
like that.
Who is the dude on the right? Who is that?
That's Gary
Dad.
Gary Plummer. So
Oh,
Kittle
yeah.
was paying
I would
homage
just
to
like
Gary.
to point out that the 49ers have a longer streak of not winning the Super Bowl than the Dallas Cowboys. I just want to throw that out there.
When was the last
I'm
time
just
they
throwing
went
that
to
out
a
there.
Super Bowl?
Is that
Though?
right?
That is actually
is,
true.
actually.
That is true. It's
Oh,
the
because
year
the Cowboys
before.
won that year after them,
The year
right?
If you're a
Yeah.
49ers
Well, here's
fan,
what you have to
please
consider, though.
Sit down.
And may I counter that
You
all
may
four
not.
of us have experienced a Super Bowl
You may
victory
not.
past the Cowboys.
You
We
may
did
not
it.
count.
I have
Listen, the
two,
sooner that you
he
just
has two,
realize you're
he has
owned by the
three,
49ers, it's
he has
just
one.
you just gotta lean into it.
Yeah.
Listen, we've won a Super Bowl more recently. That's what I'm leaning into.
Not against any of us.
That's
That
what
is
I'm leaning into. Listen, what do you guys have
Keep
coming
inhaling
out on
that
your YouTube
copium.
channel? What do you guys have coming out?
Streaming tonight with Brandon Perna.
We got to stream this Broncos Chiefs game prime time.
I have a good one. The NFL's most closely guarded secrets. There are some things
Ooh.
that they don't want you to know.
That'll
Like
slap.
how they rate
Clickbait.
games. I'm
true.
trying to get out Haters Guide to the NHL season, so I'm hoping that to be out this weekend.
And I got the pregame for the Cowboys and the Gators. I feel like that's what I put out during this time every week. So pregame conference for both those teams. And I'll be at the Bills-Giants game, going to different tailgates with Peacock. If you're going to the game, tweet me. I'll find you, whatever. Get in the video.
Have fun in Buffalo, by the way. You're gonna have a good time. Go get a garbage plate.
Tailgate would be so much fun there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna get like a lot of wings. You're gonna eat a lot of chicken.
I just want to see the tables.
Beef on
I'm
whack,
just
baby.
looking for the tables. Just
Don't hurt your
also,
elbow.
there's-
Yeah.
Don't hurt your back,
There's like-
dude.
Still hasn't recovered.
Oh, I still
Tom.
got that. That scar is gonna be there for life, and it is the most like I am so proud of this scar. 100%.
It's like a tattoo.
Well,
yeah.
you said you weren't going to get a tattoo. Guess what? You technically got a tattoo.
there you go. There.
Ooh.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Not be a tat.
this has been another episode of Clickbait Sports. See you next week at the same time.
I'm
Go for it.
Tom.
Don't get baited.